My friend Bill Lockwood is here every last Tuesday of the month. He is a radio host of American Liberty with Bill Lockwood, a teacher, pastor of Our Park Church of Christ, and the author of the study guide to Ezekiel, the Watchman of Israel. Hey, Bill.
Hey, how are you,
Jesse?
Jesse?
All is well, sir. Good morning. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you, Jesse.
You have a Santa Claus beard.
I know, and I tried to be like James Hake in your studio there, but you look so cool with that beard. I thought, well, that doesn't do the same for me.
I know. James looked totally different with a beard.
Yeah.
That's so amazing. Merry Christmas to you and your family, Bill.
Thank you so much. Merry Christmas to you, Jesse, and all your staff.
Thank you very much, man. It's really been a pleasure all these years, but especially this year as well, knowing you guys and working with you and everything.
Well, I enjoy it. And I had punched some buttons on this computer before we came on, and I ended up disappearing. I thought, oh no! So that was my fault. They had me all queued up about 10 minutes prior to.
I totally understand it. Before we get into the Christmas thing, the Democratic Party is at a point where they're trying to decide who they want to run for president in 2020.
Right.
And so far is Beto O'Rourke, Joe Biden, and Bernie Sanders.
Oh, yeah.
And so the Democrats are not happy that the black and white Democrats are not happy that they look like they're picking another old white man.
Yeah, well, there we go.
White men are not allowed in the Democratic Party anymore. How do you feel about that when they say, oh, another old white man? We need a woman or a person of color, a woman of color, or a woman or a white woman or a black woman. How do you feel when they say they don't want another old white man?
Well, you know what? The entire left in this country has really lost their collective minds because they basically are confessing that, okay, justice is not going to be equal. Justice is not going to be blind. And if you're a white man, then you're going to see things differently than a black man, or a man that differently seeing it than a woman. Or if you're a Christian, then you're going to see it differently than a homosexual. And that is completely wrong. They've divided up this country in so many different slices in so many different ways that they have emphasized division and not unity. And that's a sad story. We are emphasizing division and not unity.
How is it that the Democrats are able to outwardly discriminate against men, all colors, and against white men openly and honestly without hiding it? Whereas if Republicans did the same thing, they would get in so-called trouble. How come the Democrats are able to say and do what they want, but Republicans are not able to do that?
Well, you know what? That would be an interesting study for psychiatry right there, that we have a collective, abject bowing down of the white community and the white male community who act like, you know what, we've got to do something for the coloreds, and we've got to do something for the minorities, and do something for the women, and do something for different strands of society. And you know, it's only the whites that are always going to be backing up. They're always going to be compromising what they believe and so forth. And it's just like, you know, I've never seen anything like it. I mean, I've seen Joy Behar the other day. I actually saw a clip after she had published it in which she was railing against white men. I thought, I mean, it's crazy that, you know, that the whites are the only ones that have been taught to self-loathe.
I know. Here is Joy. I want to play Joy. It's Joy Reid, I believe.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. Joy Reid was. She's a so-called host on MSNBC. Joy Reid says Democrats can't run two white guys in 2020. Here's that soundbite that you just mentioned. It's mind-blowing to me. Why do these people still hold on to their jobs and they're not scrutinized when they openly discriminate against white people, against men, against Christians? White people seem to be afraid to say anything about it. And I'm concerned that if these people get in power, we're going to have the same situation in America that is happening in South Africa, where the blacks have taken over and they are stealing the land and killing white people and just getting away with it because whites don't matter anymore. The media is not reporting on it. No one is saying anything about it. My concern is that will happen here in America.
You know what? That's the way that communism always works. Socialism, it always drives in that direction. You know, even the cultural media in this country, or the major media, mainstream media, for many years, of course, we supported the get rid of apartheid. That was the worst sin in the world, to get rid of it. And so the whites that were, of course, the ones who were the landowners and the ones who, of course, were the more moneyed class over there, obviously, you know, the world pressure, including the United States, to give that up and to release all of their properties and at least to redistribute it so along the socialistic line. And then they were promised, of course, that everything would be in their own personal properties and they would be maintained in their own homes and so forth. Well, that, of course, was just a lie. Now they are being told, no, we're confiscating your property. And that's the way this goes.
Yeah,
and,
without compensation.
No, that's right. That's right. Without compensation, just absolute, just taking over their land violently with bloodshed, and it's confiscation. That's the way that communism works, and that's what's happened in America. You know, the communists in America, for many, many years, the Communist Party, they've recognized we have natural divisions in our country, and their job is to exploit those. Yeah. And that natural division is between black and white, and between men and women, between other minorities and the majority white. So they wanted to exploit that, and they have done that successfully, and the Democrats have simply played along with it all the way.
I know the Democratic Party is a very destructive party, and it uses people, as you just said, and especially blacks, it uses people to destroy rather than build. But I want to, do we have the Joe Behar yet? Yeah. I mean, Joy Reid yet? Yeah. We do have it? Yes. Okay, can you play? Here's Joy Reid from MSNBC. Joy Reid said Democrats can't run two white guys in 2020.
By the way, E.J. Dion, they can't run two white guys. I mean, the idea that you have Joe Biden talking to Beto O'Rourke and saying maybe they could be a ticket, I personally find it hard to understand how you get the requisite turnout among voters of color if it's a two white male ticket. Women are going to be outraged if there's not a woman on the ticket, and voters of color are going to say, well, then why are we participating?
So I'm looking. Did you see that, Bill?
Yeah, I didn't see it. I heard it.
Okay, I'm looking at, they have two white people up there and a black man and Joy Reid. And Joy and this black guy just outright hating white people, and yet they're getting away with it, and the whites are just sitting there taking it.
You know what? Think about this also. They are openly confessing that blacks vote for black people solely because of their skin color. Nothing to do with character, nothing to do with what kind of person they are, the morality or the virtues they may or may not hold. Simply on the basis of race, they will vote. They're saying the same thing regarding women. They're saying the same thing regarding all minorities, that minorities are going to vote solely based upon a class system and not based upon the individual qualities and the individual characteristics of any person running. That is a sad state of America.
And what's even sadder is that there is no outcry about it from the right. They're just sitting there taking it.
And the whites are just taught to shut their mouths and be quiet and to hate their own race, so to speak. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And the truth of the matter is, white America put a black man in the White House several years ago. Everybody knew it. So we know that's not the problem. That's not the problem, that whites are going to vote for a white because he's white. But they are telling us that minorities and blacks and so forth, Hispanics, are going to vote for their race solely based upon the race, the color of their skin.
Remember, when the fallen Messiah, Barack Obama, was in the White House, he deliberately overlooked white people. He was trying to get all the people of color together to vote and be a part of the Democratic Party. Are white people afraid, or the men afraid of name calling? What is it?
Oh, I think so. I think so. I think the white men are afraid to speak out. People, they're, people whisper around corners and say, well, we can't say this out loud, but, and it's sad. I mean, it's sad not to say that they're putting people down, but that's how they speak.
But they're only going to get worse when whites show fear. It brings out the worst in the enemies.
That's right. When you keep giving ground, they take more.
They take more. Back in a
right.
moment, Bill. I really highly recommend that you check him out, for you will not be disappointed. Bill, tell the folks how to get to your website, listen to your radio show, read your articles, and all the stuff you're doing.
Oh, thank you so much for that, Jesse. Well, yes, sir. The website is AmericanLibertyWithBillLockwood.com. And the radio show is the same. On the website, of course, there are articles from guest writers, including yourself. Really great material.
Thank you.
And then there are back. We also have the radio shows uploaded there, the ones we've done previously. But the radio show is out of Wichita Falls, Texas, on News Talk 1290 AM, and that's 11 o'clock Saturday. And also 5 o'clock Sunday in Lubbock, and also at 5 o'clock in Abilene Sunday afternoon. So that's where it is. It's News Talk 1290 AM dial, and then in Lubbock it's 790 AM and 1440 in Abilene.
So there's American Liberty with BillLockwood.com, right?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
And all
yes,
that information is there, right?
Yes, sir, it
Well,
is. All the information is on the website, AmericanLibertyWithBillLockwood.com. Thank you, Jesse.
Okay. So, Bill, so I got to ask you about the beard again.
Okay. All right.
You look different with a beard. You look like a tall, handsome guy, but with a beard, you look different, older.
Well,
You like it, Jason? You like it, Joel?
I like it.
I don't dislike it. It's just different.
yeah. It is, yeah. Well, you know what? It's beard growing is for young men. Without the gray hair,
So,
it's a little.
Did you wake up one morning and say, I'm going to grow me a beard?
Well, yeah, kind of that way. I thought I'll try this winter. So
Yeah, I understand. James said it suits him. It's Christmas, and he like it. He said he looked nice with it.
yeah, people are saying that I should be trying out for Santa Claus roles around here.
Yeah. What's your wife say about it?
Well, she says, well, whatever. It's not her favorite.
So James said, keep it then.
Okay.
What do you think about it, Joel?
That's cool. I like it.
Tell Bill.
It's nice. I told him about it when we were setting up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that.
How long are you going to keep it?
Oh, probably not very long. I mean, maybe through December, but that'll be about it, probably.
So when you try to kiss your wife, does she say, "Ugh, get back your beard"?
Yeah, kind of like, oh, here we go.
Oh God! We say Christmas here. Is it okay to celebrate Christmas for Christians to celebrate Christmas?
This is a great time of year to talk about it, and I think it's important to recognize that certainly it is. It's I want to emphasize this though, that the Bible doesn't teach anything about a Christmas celebration, a Christmas holiday. It obviously came about in the Middle Ages with the Roman Catholicism, the Mass for Christ, and so forth. And of course, that's all extra biblical and added on to the New Testament. And what we should do as far as Christians is everything that we do it in the name of the Lord Jesus,
Yeah.
Colossians 3:17. So as far as a worship for Christ or a worship regarding his birthday and worship celebration, even private worship, I say, no, this is not what this is about. But as far as an innocent holiday, enjoying the festivities of the season as a cultural practice, I believe it's great. And I'm happy that people do emphasize the birth of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
If you live in a Muslim country, you'd be happy, kind of like I used the illustration with in the congregation recently. I don't know if you remember the man, Tony Bryant, used to be a Black Panther and hijacked a plane going down to Cuba.
Yeah.
And he was sold a bill of goods that America was terrible, and he got down there. They threw him in prison. When he came back, got escaped. He came back and he just kissed the ground of America, said, it's the best country in the world. And I think people would feel that way just to see the Christmas trees and people talking about Jesus Christ. It's really wonderful.
Yeah.
And so I believe that it's a great celebratory time.
Some people say that, I don't celebrate holidays, or I don't celebrate Christmas. It's a pagan day. I think they lost their mind.
Well, you know what? There are a lot of things that originated in paganism, and the passage that I like to point people to is in 1 Corinthians chapters 8 through 10. Paul handled the issue of meat sacrificed to idols. All of the meat that they bought in an open-air marketplace called the Makalon at Corinth had originated with pagan priests offered with pagan prayers to a pagan altar. Yet they bought that meat in a marketplace, and the Christians asked, can I buy that meat that had been dedicated that way? The answer is, in chapter 10, verse 23, tells us, whatever is sold in the Makalon, eat, asking no question for conscience sake. That is, it doesn't taint what you're doing, the background of that meat. So exactly it is. We recognize that all of these things had origins in the Middle Ages history in paganism and Catholicism and so forth, but that doesn't taint the cultural practice today. And we celebrate these things not as a religious holiday, not as religion, or as any kind of thing such as that, but we do celebrate it simply as family time and time that we can have a great time at celebration. And they talk about Christ. I think that's wonderful. I said, I desire a culture that we talk about Christ at least some of the time of the year.
That's right. The Great White Hope, President Trump says, we can say Merry Christmas again. I'm really happy for him.
That is wonderful. I mean, why would anybody object to that? I mean,
angry people, unhappy folks.
They just hate Christianity and everything that even touches Christianity, and that's what they've gone after. So I think it's a wonderful time.
I interviewed a Jehovah's Witness who said Jesus wasn't born on December 25th. And so I told that Jehovah's Witness to take a hike.
Well, that's not the point. I don't celebrate it. I don't celebrate it as the time of Jesus' birth. I recognize that's the case. I don't recognize it at all as a religious holiday. No more than if I bought a piece of meat in Corinth from the marketplace, the Makalon, that I would be participating in idol worship.
That's right.
But nevertheless, I can take that and take it home and participate in eating it, as Paul said to do. So the same thing is the case here. I'm not participating in any paganism or any Catholic thing. It's simply a cultural custom that we have in America, that we set aside time and we celebrate family time. And if people emphasize the birth of Christ, that's fine.
Yeah.
I just am happy that people talk about him.
Me too. My last question, we have a minute here. My biblical question, what is your comfort zone?
My comfort zone in regard to?
What's holding you back in life?
Well, I have to think about that one a little bit. I'm not sure. I don't know.
All right. When I have you back, I want you to answer that for me.
Okay. All right.
So American Liberty with BillLockwood.com and on Twitter at AmLib Radio. Bill,
that's correct. Right.
Yeah, AmLib Radio. Bill, bless you and the family. God bless you. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me, Jesse. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year to you. I'll talk to you next year.
Okay. Happy New Year to you guys, too.